swatches. We're going to have a tutorial. I've already got my brows done, that's it. And if you are only here for the swatches, or if you just want to see the makeup look, then look below for the timestamps. And without further ado, we'll just get straight into it. So the price of this palette retails for $65. I actually pay a little bit more than that because I get mine from Sephora and I am in New Zealand, and in New Zealand makeup is just very expensive in itself. I think it's like all the shipping and the duties and the customs and things make the price go way up. So I actually paid $107 for this palette. So when you receive the palette, it just comes in a plasticky type packaging like this. And then when you open it and take it out of the box, it's pretty similar packaging to all her other palettes, just with her eyes on the front, which I think is a brand, which is quite good because then all her palettes are similar, and you know in your collection the one with the eyes is obviously Huda Beauty. So I like that the brand is very consistent with their packaging and make everything similar. And then when we open it up, there is just this picture here just protecting all the shades. So when you open it up, this is what the palette looks like. You do get a very nice sized mirror in the palette, which I like. I love having mirrors in all my palettes. It has 18 eyeshadows. So there are 10 matte shades, 4 duochrome shades, 2 glitters, 1 pearl and 1 concealer shade. So now I'm just going to take you through some swatches. You'll be able to see me swatch all the shades in just a second, and I am going to voice over and tell you which shade is which as I'm swatching them.
Okay guys, so the first shade is a matte shade called Bear. Then we have a duochrome shade called Crave. We have another matte shade called Play. Then we have another duochrome shade called Fantasy. Then we have another matte shade called Love Bite. We have another shade which is a matte shade called Spanked. Another matte shade called Lace. Then we have another duochrome shade called Daydream. Another matte shade called Tickle. And 1 pressed glitter called Excite. So that is the first set of swatches for the palette. Moving on to the second set, we have the second glitter, which is called Infatuated, a pressed pearl pigment called Kinky, we have the concealer shade, we have a matte shade called Secret, another matte shade called Tease, another matte shade called Raw, the last duochrome shade called Charmed, and the last matte shade called Teddy.
Okay guys, so I'm just going to play around with some of the lighter shades. I did watch a few tutorials on YouTube already, and a lot of people have been grabbing for the pink and the purples, but I do want to stick to something quite neutral. And we are spring here in New Zealand, for those who don't know. So I do want to play with something that is wearable for the daytime. Like, I've already done a look using pinks and purples using the Norvina palette. So I'm just going to switch it up. Maybe just try and use some of the brownish tone shades. I'm really reaching for this peachy sort of pinky gold shade. And this one is really grabbing my eye as well. So without rambling on too much, I'm just going to get straight into the tutorial. So I'm going to start off just by using my LA Girl Pro Concealer. This is just going to prime my lids. Okay, so I've got my concealer on to prime my lids. Now I'm just going to go in with my Real Technique sponge, and I'm just going to blend that into the eye area. set my concealer just because I really want the pigments to shine through on my eyes today. First of all, I'm just going to take this Morphe brush. I don't know what number it is. It's just one I always use. Just the fluffy blending brush, just like this. For the first shade today, I'm going to take the shade Play. It's like a very, it's a very light pink color, but it's sort of got some sort of peachiness to it. So I'm just going to take that into the crease. Okay, well, we obviously need a bit more than that. So just taking this shade called Play into the crease. And I'm bringing it quite high as well. Now that we've got that pink shade on, I'm going to intensify the crease. And I think I'm going to use the shade, I'm tossing between Secret and Teddy. So I'm tossing between Secret and Teddy for the crease. I'm just going to take a smaller blending brush. This is also from Morphe. And I'm going to dip into the shade Secret. I'm just going to pop that into the crease, but not take it as high up as our previous shade. So I'm just going to take a little bit at a time, and I'm just building up in the outer corner of the eye. I'm just really keeping it on the outer corner, but I'm only slowly blending it into about halfway. Just like that. So I'm just going to repeat the same step on the other eye. And then just taking the first blending brush that we had, I'm just going to blend the crease just to make it a bit more soft and make sure those two colours are blended in. So I'm going to take the shade here, which is called Raw, just on the same small blending brush, and I'm just going to keep it on the tip, and I'm just going to literally place it just on the outer corner of the eye, and I'm just dabbing it there because that's where I want the pigment to be concentrated. That's where I want the most of that shade. I don't really want to take it into the crease. I just want to keep it on the outer corner. Then I'm going to take the first blending brush, and I'm going to go back into the shade Play, which is that pink, and I'm just going to blend that up here. I'm going to take the concealer shade, and I'm going to carve out my crease. And I'm just going to take it to 3/3 of the way. I don't really want to do a harsh cut crease line, so I'm just freehanding this, but I'm also blending the concealer in at the same time because I just don't want it to be that harsh. I still want this to be quite a nice natural daytime look. Just taking my finger, and I'm just going to blend that concealer out. So I'm going to repeat the same step on the other side. I'm going to go into that shade that I have been really obsessed with from the start, which is it's like a rosy gold champagne color. This is one of the Adurochrome shades. So I'm just going to take a brush like this and I'm going to see how it performs, and if I need to wet my brush then I obviously let you guys know. I don't have the brush that it comes with that you're supposed to apply it with. You're supposed to use these sorts of shades with your finger, just so then the pigment payoff can come out a lot stronger. But I'm just going to use a flat shader brush. Yeah, so you definitely need to use your finger with this one. So I'm going to just pick up that pigment with on my finger, and I'm just going to just swipe it on just like that. And I'm just going to blend it in with my finger as well. Like, that shade is literally stunning. Wow. I can't get over this shimmer shade. It's amazing. I'm just going to do the same to the other side. Okay, now I'm going to go back into the same small blending brush, and I'm going to take the shade Teddy, and I'm just going to reinforce the outer corner, just blending through the outer corner and those gold shades together. I think that's good. Okay, so now I'm just going to take a baby wipe and I'm just going to clean up underneath the eyes. Okay, so I'm going to apply my mascara now, only on the top lashes, just before I move on to the face, and I'm also going to apply my false lashes. So I just have the style here. These are the Kiss lashes. This is in the style Ritzy, but I've customized them with some individuals just so they're a bit fuller, and I'll probably just speed up the process, otherwise we'll be here all day. Okay, so lashes are on. Finally, it takes me so long to do lashes. So because I've done already 2 looks for fall on my channel, and this one is more inspired towards the spring, I'm going to keep it quite glowy and fresh on the skin. So the first thing I'm going to do is spray my face with some Iconic London Prep Set and Glow. I'm just going to cover my eyes. Like, love the smell of this stuff. I could literally just bath my whole body in this stuff. Like, if you guys don't have it, like, you need it. This is like a must in your collection. First Light Priming Filter by Becca. This one's really hydrating, if you have dry skin and you're looking for a primer that's really hydrating, this Becca one, like, you're going to love it. So just watching out for the eyebrows. So for foundation, I usually use my Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation, but for today I'm going to try out the Fenty Beauty one. This is just a sample size and I'm going to use the shade 150. So there should be enough for one application in here, but I don't know how this is going to go. Okay. Blend that in first. Oh, it smells just as nice as the primer that she's got. I love the Fenty Beauty primer. It smells so good. That wasn't even half of the sample size, and it's gone quite a long way. About one layer of foundation, but now that I've got the sample size open, I'm going to have to use the rest of it. So we're going to go for a full coverage look today, alright? You actually get a lot in the sample size. I'm wondering how many pumps of foundation the sample size is. Just layer it up where I've got some pigmentation. Like, that foundation is pretty medium to full coverage. I don't know if I want concealer. Anyway, let's finish up the eyes and then we'll move back onto the face. Let's just make sure this foundation doesn't set really weird. It's my first time using it, so I don't want it to dry like a powder and then add powder. So I'm going to move back onto the eyes. Going back onto the eyes, I'm just going to take a small blending brush and I'm going to go into the shade Secret and just take that underneath the lower lash line. Then just using the same brush, I'm going to go into the shade Play, which is the first shade that we used. And I'm just going to put that on the inner part of the eye. Then I'm just going to take that blending brush that we used before and I'm just going to blend the two. Now that this is a spring look, I'm going to go in with a neutral eyeliner. So I'm going to use the NYX Wonder Pencil. This is in the shade Light. Then I'm going to go in with some lower lash mascara. This is just the NYX Skinny Mascara. For the inner corner, I'm just going to go back into the shade Crave. Just to brighten up my under eyes, I'm just going to go in with the Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer. But I'm not going to put it on my chin or my lips. Not going that extreme today. I'm going to set under my eyes with the Kat Von D Lock-It Setting Powder. While that's baking, I'm going to head over to contour. Another Fenty Beauty product. This is the Fenty Beauty Matchstick in the shade Truffle. So I'm just going to take a blending brush and work it on the stick like that. I find that it just blends better into the foundation this way. I know it looks crazy right now, but just wait till it's blended. So then I just get a bigger brush and blend it out. So I'm not going back in with the product, I'm just using whatever's on the brush just to contour my nose because I don't like it to be too harsh. Highlighter today I'm going to use the Becca Shimmer Skin Perfector in the shade Opal. This is just because I want that really glowy look and I don't want to use a lot of powder. So just taking the brush, the sponge, and I just blend it in. Okay, and then just to set the whole face, I'm just going to go in with my Rimmel Stay Matte. I'm going to actually use one of the shades from here for my highlighter. I was really intrigued by the shade Daydream. I actually really like that on the cheekbones. I'm going to use it as a highlighter more often. We are nearly done. I'm just going to apply some blush. Today I'm just going to use the Morphe palette. This is that Warm Master palette. And I don't really know what shade to go for. I feel like we have a lot of pink on the eyes, so I think I'm going to go for like quite a peachy shade. So the shade Sweet. Lips. Okay, I'm gonna line my lips with the Morphe lip pencil. This is in the shade Backseat Love, and I apply Eco Park by Colourpop. I'm spilling makeup everywhere today, honestly. To make sure that we are glowing all day and we set our makeup, I'm going to use the Pixie Glow Mist. So just give it a shake. I love this stuff because it literally keeps you glowing like the whole day. So I'm just going to cover my eyes. Such a good refresher for your makeup too. Alrighty everyone, that is the completed look for today using the Nude Huda Beauty palette. Nude Huda Beauty Nude palette. Got it. I'm going to give you my final thoughts on this palette. So I love all the shades in this palette. I do think that she should have swapped out some of the dark purple shades for more of like an orangey based, or because these are actually quite brown but they do come off a bit more pink on the eye, so maybe even like some peachy, some light browns, and then this palette would have been like a perfect palette. I really give her credit for creativity of the shades and her aspect of coming out with new nudes. It's not supposed to be, the palette wasn't supposed to be nude. A brand new way of showing a new nude. But the thing is, I feel like this palette should have been a volume 2. I'm not too sure if I agree on her aspect of new nude, but I definitely do love this palette. But to call it a nude palette, I just don't think it should have been called the new nude, unless it was like a volume 2. This palette here really does remind me of the KKW Blossom palette. There's so many mauve and pink and purple tones that it doesn't suit everyone, and for her to call it a new nude that is suitable for everyone, it just doesn't make sense, because these colors don't necessarily suit everyone. If you were a freelance makeup artist like myself, then this palette is really going to be beneficial for you, because you can use so many different looks, brides, bridesmaids, all that sort of thing. But as an everyday nude palette, I wouldn't reach for it. Moving on to the concealer shade, I don't want to come across as judgmental, but I do have a feeling that maybe the concealer shade was put in there due to her $1 million mistake. I'm not too sure if you guys are following with that, but basically she made a lot of concealers and they weren't the formula or something that she wanted. A lot of the concealers were oxidizing and not working, so she couldn't release them. And for her to come out with concealers, the Overachiever concealer, and then a palette straight away, makes me think that she's put all of the concealers that she couldn't put out into the palette just to try and like save the money, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But when she applied it to herself in the video, she did say that the concealer did suit every skin shade, but then she went on to say that it sometimes can be a bit ashy on herself, and it's also very see-through. I'm not too sure if this base color is supposed to be highly pigmented or very opaque, but it is quite sheer, and even for me, I felt like I was applying it and it was sort of ashy as well. So I'm not too sure if the concealer is 100% linked into the other concealer mistake, but I wouldn't be surprised. So another thing that carries on this theory as well is that with the concealer being inside a palette, her concealers can be priced from at least $30. So why, with her prices being so moderate to high end, why would she just give us a concealer inside a palette? It does not make sense. She is such a smart businesswoman that I don't see her just giving us a product. So if you guys are going to purchase this palette, then let me know in the comments down below if you want to purchase it. Or if you already have it, then what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear your thoughts on the palette as well. So that is all I have for you guys today. Please like this video if you enjoyed watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you are new here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.